Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the card reveal, the Marco's Pizza card reveal for Emerge 31 Deception. And, Chris, what a fitting name we've chosen for this one. My name is Casey Johnson. Alongside me, as always, Commissioner Chris Lowe and my partner in crime, A.W. Lurch. And just a few days ago, now, I think was one of the craziest events Emerge has ever had. And if you notice, the table's a little more solemn today because we have several issues in Emerge right now that are perhaps the most personal that we have ever had to react to and to talk about. So, Chris, the first thing I want to do is get your reaction to the obvious, the what has been heard around the world has gotten over 4,000 views on the Emerge Facebook page, and that is the reveal. Apparently, it was Ricky Ruckus all along that ordered the hit, I guess, on Donnie.
And you mentioned the solemnity at the table this evening. I think a lot of that's just due to the fact that we're just now, I guess, coming to grips with what's been done.
Just now trying to kind of settle back into the normal routine of what we're doing, because both of you can speak to the fact that especially around the offices, the past few days have been hectic.
I'm just going to say, Ricky Ruckus has made my life a living hell the last few weeks, or last few days, I should say.
Feels like weeks.
Yeah, especially with, our social media presence, and we'll get into that later, but
can you really blame Ricky Ruckus for doing this?
Oh my God, not now.
I mean, think about the situation. Think about it from his perspective.
I'm still trying to.
I mean, he has seen the worst of every situation that has been put in front of him, and it was finally time for him to take a stand, in my opinion. I mean,
well, let's talk about the stand that he did take. There has been some confusion online as to exactly what happened and how it happened, so let's kind of lay it out beat by beat to start out. The match is about to begin with TJ and Ricky. Donnie is the special guest referee. The lights go out. When the lights come back on, music plays, and surrounding the ring are three men wearing masks.
Right.
Very similar to what we saw in September.
When Donnie's career was basically almost taken from him completely.
As I tried to get out of there, one of the men, which ended up being Alistair Wilde, grabbed me, shoved me back into my chair, and made me watch, which, Chris, you and I were talking earlier. I'm man enough to admit I kind of brought that one on myself.
Yeah. The night before the show on social media, you basically tempted fate, and I admonished you then. I feel bad that you were forced to sit there and watch it, but you poked the hornet's nest.
And can I just mention that at that moment when those three men appeared at the ring, I looked down at my phone. I had a family emergency. I had to step outside. I completely missed the entire attack, but I did see it. I was one of those 5,000 views on Facebook, and I did see the attack. And like I said again, I can't blame them for capitalizing there.
So, of course, the attack that we're talking about, a super kick from Ricky Ruckus followed by an out-and-out beatdown on Donnie Idol. And TJ Kemp, I think the surprise of the night, I remarked at I got to be honest, most of my commentary at the time was just screaming, but one thing that flowed out of my mouth that I think is relatively poignant is the fact that TJ jumped on the grenade for
Absolutely.
Donnie in a way that, I mean, half of us expected that it was going to be him who did it. Little did we realize that he was the one that was going to save Donnie from serious injury and got injured, got really banged up himself. TJ Kemp, not on this card, still needs a little bit of time to recover. So then the three men get in the ring, and Ricky said what he had to say, and laid Donnie out one more time. And that's kind of where the plot thickens as the three men are revealed. And the first of which is Alistair Wilde, who we have not seen since Downtown Throwdown 3. But just from his mannerisms, Chris, and Lurch too, this is not the same Alistair Wilde that was here in August.
Oh, no, and we last saw him attack Dakota Prodigy in a similar manner, just a man on a mission sent to the ring to do what he wanted to do, to eliminate who he wanted to eliminate, and it almost seems like that may have been a test mission for Alistair.
It definitely does seem so. And if I can speak here, it almost seems like I've been watching Ricky do what he does for a long time, and Alistair right now at this career reminds me a little bit of Ricky back when you were managing him at the turn of the century.
I could see that.
Then, of course, we have Billy Mattern, who I don't really know how Billy factors into this whole thing yet.
All right.
Loyal Emerge fans will remember, I believe he worked one pre-show that I think offhand was at Emerge 14 Trilogy against King Crush, was unsuccessful in that effort. And so I'm not entirely sure. Of course, we know King Crush has gone on to great things. He's participating in some starving children in Africa campaigns right now. He's doing great work on that continent. Haven't seen Billy since then until he took off his mask, but the big one, literally and figuratively, the one that just boggles my mind, Chris Morris.
Yeah. Who saw that coming?
Of BAD, donning a somewhat ironic Justice League shirt at the time, laid out TJ Kemp, Donnie Idol, Sean Kemp, several members of the Emerge security, and near the end, Big Mike, Yukon Mike, his tag team partner of years now, which is, it's confusing. I mean, it was literally last month.
Right.
They won the Tag Team of the Year award.
Yeah,
again.
But speaking of justice, I mean, Chris Morris finally got his justice in that tag team. Yukon Mike was obviously holding him back. You don't see the Emerge Tag Team Championships around BAD. Chris Morris obviously saw that, and you know who can blame him? I mean,
I don't know, but the fact that I don't know is kind of our next point here. Chris, you, and JT Branham specifically have tasked me with figuring this whole thing out. And so a couple days ago on social media, I sent out an invite to Ricky, perhaps against my better judgment, but I think it's what needs to happen. And I want to reiterate that, Ricky, if you're out there and you're watching and you're listening, I really do want to hear your side of the story. And I think we all do. I don't think any of us, I don't even think Lurch can wholeheartedly agree with the degree you took things to here in the last little bit. But I want to see and I want to hear why you did what you did. So I don't want to rehash that. I've told you where I'm going to be Saturday night, and I've told you you have an open invitation to join me. It's in public. Security will be there. I'm not worried for my safety at this particular point in time, but I'll have I'll have a microphone there for you. Is all I can say. But Chris, before we really got into the card, I wanted to kind of get your thoughts, because you've been fairly silent, I would say. What is some of your reaction to this?
A mixture of being stunned and disgusted and confused. We've sat down with Ricky, and how many hours did we go over all that footage trying to figure out
Easily
who it was?
50, 60 hours.
And he's got me convinced that, he's going to find the guy who did this. Not once did it cross my mind that he was the one, and he was able to do it with a straight face.
And I know I lost a lot of sleep over this too. I mean, you had to send me home at 6 in the morning a couple days ago, but the breadcrumbs were there the entire time. And if you think about it, it was always Ricky pushing the story to the next place, picking out somebody to be his red herring specifically. I fully believe that's what he did.
And can we just admit, genius move by Ricky Ruckus there. And I even heard as early as yesterday, he was still on the Facebook page commenting and reacting to things. I mean, he has the Emerge audience at the palm of his hand right now, and finally, he's where he should be with Donnie Idol below him.
He's making everyone's life in Emerge difficult, and you think it's funny.
I'm not saying it's funny. This is professional wrestling, and it is.
And in professional wrestling, you don't break another man's neck.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do what you need to do to get the 3 count in professional wrestling. That's what I've always learned in this business.
Having a hard time hearing you there, Lurch. You may want to.
Yeah, I can't hear myself either. So.
Guess I'll turn. It is worth noting that TJ Kemp fell directly onto the commentary table, and a little bit of our equipment was damaged. That's one reason I have this this mic here now. One of my headsets no longer works, so if you keep losing out, you can just lean in and use this as well. The second situation, which I don't think we'll spend quite as much time on, I think he's channel 3, Chris.
Check.
Nothing.
Nothing?
Check.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick second to figure this out. For now, though, I do want to play something that shows you just what Ricky Ruckus's frame of mind is. We got some video, actually, of him being taken out of the building. Let's cut to that for now, and we're going to figure this out.
How many hours have you and I gone through that footage trying to figure out who attacked Donnie Idol? And it was you? Are you freaking kidding me? What are you thinking?
Well, if anything shows the volatility of that situation, I think that doesn't. It's interesting because now Sean Kemp is gunning after Ricky as well. TJ is, so it's not just Donnie. I think he's made an enemy out of the entire Kemp family as well, and potentially Yukon Mike.
Gunning, they turned the dogs loose on him. Sean Kemp, I mean, he's a rabid dog. He was so wild. Did you see him with the Frisbee, too?
Well, I mean, how would you feel if your dad had just been hit with a chair 5 times as hard as Ricky Ruckus could possibly swing, which you know is pretty hard?
True.
Directly in front of you like that?
I mean, understandable, but...
So speaking of emotional reactions, the one other thing that I think we've got to talk about is Chris Caliber and Jordan Cage.
Oh, my God.
In a night where we were already physically uncomfortable, and Lurch can attest to the fact that I didn't even do much commentary on the main event because of what had just happened. Another unspeakable moment happens.
Chris Caliber, I don't know how he's keeping it together as well as he is.
He barely is.
Jordan Cage is playing with fire at this point. And the fact that he was able, he won the match. I'm not taking that away from him. He won the match by disqualification. But he ran off with the Emerge Championship yet again. And that just led to a whole other turn of events and a continuing long evening for me.
And we will definitely get to that later. But for now, let's get into the card proper for Emerge 31 Deception. Our Copies and More Facebook Live match is one of the more interesting matchups I think we've had in a while. The sharpshooter Luke Lawson is going to take on kinetic, 6-foot swole, big match Cole Radrick. This is a singles match, but it has some major implications for the tag team championship. Chris, can you explain a little bit of why this match is taking place?
Well, our Emerge fans know we had to kind of scramble in March and have the show rescheduled. That carried over to the April show as well. That had to be pushed back a few weeks. Due to that, Warfare Jeremy Hadley, one half of the Emerge Tag Team Champions, he had previous commitments, so he's unable to attend this show. However, Cole Radrick will, and he'll be facing sharpshooter Luke Lawson with the caveat that should Lawson win, he will get to select a tag team partner, and they will go up against Cole and Jeremy Hadley at Emerge 32.
Wow. And you know the sharpshooter has been out there scouting, looking around, stalking.
And not only that, with the contracts that he takes out, he has the money to hire in some major guns. I mean, Luke Lawson has been in the ring in just the last year with guys like Hornswoggle, the Hurricane, Congo Kong, Shane Mercer, a bunch of names that a lot of the Emerge fans are going to recognize. And Luke Lawson could realistically bring any of these guys, I mean the Headbangers, Myron Reed, anybody into Emerge to fill that slot.
Man, I mean, I can't even stop thinking about the endless possibilities that who Luke Lawson is going to bring here to Emerge. Russ.
But he has got to get through Cole Radrick, who, number one, is increasingly imbalanced. Mm-hmm. I was telling you during our commentary at the last show that I believe Cole Radrick is the epitome of the wheel spinning, but the hamster's dead.
I mean, Cole Radrick is unconscious. When he is in the ring, he flows. He doesn't have to think about what he's doing. He's comfortable in the ring, but that is because he is just there.
His matches are like one fluid thought. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be interesting in a matchup against Luke Lawson, because Luke Lawson is a master tactician, but you never quite know where Cole Radrick's going to go. There's a reason they call him kinetic. So either way, if Luke Lawson wins this match, he gets a match at 32. He gets to choose his own partner for the tag team championship. Definitely one to keep your eye on. And honestly, this card's absolutely stacked, believe that. But one of what could potentially be the better matches on the card, and it starts when? At 6:40 for our Copies and More Facebook live stream. So you guys have been watching those more and more and more, and we just keep wanting to make them better and better and better for you.
And this past March 24th, we had the blizzard come through, and the crowd was still full. Right there at 6:40, the crowd was still filing in. I mean, it was great.
And our biggest online audience I've heard ever for one of our Copies and More Facebook Live matches.
Yeah,
so
really
definitely thank you guys for that. But if you're watching it on Facebook Live, I dare say you're doing it wrong because you need to be there in the building. Match number 1 on the full proper card is big news. We wanted to start off with breaking news, and it involves 2 words: Women's Championship.
That's right. We've seen her before. Haley Shadows returns to get another shot to become Emerge Women's Champion as she faces the current champion, Laney Luck.
And this is a match, Chris, that just makes sense. I mean, Haley Shadows was this close to beating Karma for that championship, and as a matter of fact, she was part of one of our double main events at Downtown Throwdown in that match involving the Caliber family and Raven. And this is, as you put it in our notes here, this is her second bite at the apple. And she is in a position, I've already talked to her, she wants to make this one count, but she's got to go through Lurch's favorite wrestler to do it.
That's right. I mean, you know, I have been big on Laney Luck ever since she's been here, but Haley Shadows is coming in. Haley Shadows is going to walk through the match, is going to come into Emerge, and is going to rip that Emerge Championship off that Barbie doll head.
So you're calling it now, Haley Shadows new champ.
I think so. I think, you know, Laney Luck has really shown what she's, you know, all about, but Haley Shadows is coming right in, coming to take that Emerge Women's Championship.
Is Haley Shadows turned?
We shall see. April 14th.
Well, match number 2 is a tag team match that does not, Chris, have title implications, but is a fantastic match for both of these teams to cement their place in Emerge. We were talking about earlier before the show, teams like BAD and the Battle Beasts, 8-Bit Punks, Pretty Perfect, all of these teams have disbanded.
Right.
In Emerge, and we're not, I mean, by no means is the tag team division in a bad place. It's in the perfect place because it is a place where you can get your opportunity. And now 2 former number 1 contenders for the Emerge Tag Team Championship who just couldn't quite get there are coming back to try to take their place.
The team of legendary Matt O'Hare and Alexander Kirk versus the Young Dragons, Josh Crane and Dale Patricks.
Oh, it is going to be so good to see Legendary back here in Emerge Wrestling. I mean, those 2 with Cinnamon, I hope she's back, are just incredible. Just they bring everything to the arena that just they just exude just total sexiness, in my opinion. I mean, they are, I mean, just the absolute just like epitome of just beautiful wrestling personality. I mean,
Personality.
Legendary. I mean, it's brilliant. It's like a prediction of a brilliant, you know, career, and I just can't get over them.
Sexy.
Okay.
Do you think, okay, so since we're down this rabbit hole now, do you think that Alexander Kirk is sexier now that he doesn't have the mustache, or was he better with the mustache?
He got rid of the mustache?
He did.
I think there's your answer.
Wow. This is news to me.
Versus the Young Dragons, Josh Crane, Dale Patricks. Of course, they went to the finals of, Chris, that grueling tournament that Pretty Perfect ended up winning.
Right.
Definitely, I mean, they are known as 2 guys who will put their bodies through hell to gain a win, to gain championships. Last time it didn't quite work out for them, but they're back, and whoever wins this match is on the fast track, I think, to being a potential contender for the title.
Right. And you mentioned there's no title implications in this match on the face of it, but no doubt whoever wins is going to be in a much better place.
I kind of have a feeling whoever wins this match is probably going to be talking to Nikki Mariani. Nikki Mariani
oh my God.
has definitely been scouting the tag team scene. We have heard the rumors are true, regardless of her not being involved in
these rumors that only you keep talking about.
April 14th. Mark my words. You're gonna see something. You're gonna see some more signs point to me being right as normal, as usual.
As normal. But it's an interesting matchup of styles because Legendary likes to use a lot of head games. Meanwhile, Dale Patricks and Josh Crane have they do not fall for the head games. As a matter of fact, I would dare say, and they tell you themselves, they've had most of their brains beaten out of them over the last few years. But they are a brawling tag team, whereas Legendary is more of a technical aspect. Definitely going to be a good match. Come and check it out. But when we talk about a match that is just has the potential to be a masterclass in wrestling, we look at our third match, just our third match on the card, and this was almost a main event. Well, this was already a main event match once in a merge, and it is a match, Chris, that is all about respect.
Absolutely. As a former Emerge champion, Poison, Apollo Star, faces Mark Vandy, a man who is kind of on a redemption story.
Yes, of course. Earlier today on the Merge Facebook page, you saw we got the opportunity to catch up with Mark Vandy and to get him his plaque for the Outbreak Championship ladder match that won Match of the Year, and he called out Apollo Star. And when you have a chance to get a match this good, these men have a tremendous amount of respect for each other, and you'd be a fool not to take it.
Yeah, this was a no-brainer signing for me.
Coming off the win of the tables match, for him to call out a Poison Apollo Star, a polished veteran hailing from the Rage Dojo. I mean, you're talking about somebody who has over almost 2 decades experience in this business. For Mark Vandy to call him out like that,
it's fitting, though. It's fitting because Mark Vandy never won a match in a merge until that tables match, and it all started at a Merge 15 triumphant when Mark Vandy took on Apollo Star for Apollo's, at that time, as you could probably guess by the event title, newly won a Merge Championship. And Chris, that's when you used to sit next to us at the desk, and you were right there. Vandy was that close.
Yes.
Several times during that match, and now that he's got his mojo back, let's say, he's ready to prove once and for all that he can be the man. But Apollo Star is not looking to give up that spot, a spot that has been a little fluid for him. It's been a little slip and slide for Apollo Star over the last year. So both of these guys want this spot, and I think we're going to figure out who the better man is.
Oh, there's no doubt. If you're going to be the man in Emerge Wrestling, you are at one point or another going to have to go through Poison Apollo Star. There is no doubt.
Match number 4, Scotty Young versus ATM Austin Tyler Morris in a match that is no surprise.
Right. I've heard about this since before Revelations. Young was very upset that he didn't get the Outbreak Championship match, and he took it out on ATM.
He finished second. He finished second in the Outbreak 8. If you're gonna have an alternate for the Outbreak Championship, it should be Scotty Young. He had every right to be upset with you, Commish. It made sense to me.
But once the decision is made, you need to let the competition take center stage.
I agree. I mean, Scotty Young had a very, very decisive, good win over Aaron Anarchy. Perhaps that would be enough to throw him into title contention within the next couple of shows, perhaps even for the Emerge Championship.
Yeah.
However, after ATM's title match with Lennox Norris, Scotty made it personal versus ATM and delivered not one, but 2 butterfly effects to ATM after that match. So you've got to wonder if it was not a smart move for Scotty Young long term to let his emotions get the better of him.
I think it could have been a smart move. I mean, I don't think he made it personal. I mean, as we've said before, this is the professional wrestling business. You do what you have to do to capitalize on every situation you can to make your way to the top.
Well, either way, I think these two are pretty relatively evenly matched up. Scotty does hold a win over Austin Tyler Morris. If he can win, again, you've got to figure he's one step closer to getting that title that he has coveted ever since he's been here in Emerge.
Absolutely. I'm sad it had to go down this way.
Well, match number 5 is going to be a knockdown, drag-out brawl, no matter which way you put it, in a match that when we were finalizing the card at the board meeting a couple days ago, it was one of those situations where the match kind of caught me off guard. But the more you think about it, the more it makes perfect sense, and the better I think it's going to be.
Right. Conniving, Kenneth James makes his return against the Mastodon, J.D. Mariani.
Wow. Is Christopher Icon going to be there?
He is not.
After what happened to him at the strap match at Emergence Day, he's not going to be here. Is he okay? Is he in the hospital?
He's still upset.
He is, as the kids would say, still butthurt.
I wish you wouldn't have said that.
I mean, it was truly despicable.
Man, I already got beaten up by Aleister Wilde. I don't really have much to lose at this point.
It was, to be quite clear, Christopher Icon should have never been put in that situation where the fans were just, I mean, they were decimating him.
Well, maybe
with the
if they hadn't used the straps the month before, that wouldn't have happened. Either way, though, Christopher Icon is a big pile of upset, and he's not going to be here. But with the Hellfire Club having been completely decimated by injuries, I mean, Kenneth James right now is the only one left standing. And Christopher Icon is out of play. Kenneth James, he called in and he told us personally that he wanted a match. He wanted to get back into competition, whether it was Christopher Icon at his side or even if he had to go it alone against the big man J.D. Mariani.
And I have a lot of respect for that, the fact that he doesn't feel like he needs to have somebody with him.
Because he can figure out every underhanded way to win himself.
Well, he's conniving enough to get it done, and I think it's going to be, like you said, a knockdown, drag-out.
And what a challenge to go up against the Mastodon, J.D. Mariani. I mean,
no lie.
What? By himself, without any of his people behind him, he's going in singles competition against the Mastodon.
And we say it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight, but those first 2 words, I think, are the most important. Can Kenneth James knock down J.D. Mariani? Because, as we all know, Kenneth James is a little bit of a hooker. He likes to get in there, stretch you, work one body part, and to do that effectively, he's got to get you down on the ground. But J.D. Mariani is a very hard man to actually take off of his feet if he doesn't want to go down. I mean, we've seen entire matches where J.D. didn't go off his feet until he was jumping off the second rope with a bonsai drop.
Right. Right. I think I'm no color commentator, but if I'm conniving Kenneth James, I am targeting one knee, and I am going at it all match long.
Sounds like a good strategy.
Well, that's definitely going to be, I think, one of the harder hitting matches on the card. And I think it's one of those sleeper matches. I was telling you this earlier. This has the potential to really end up being something special and something that we talk about for a long time to come. But another match that I think will be just as memorable is our match for the Outbreak Championship.
This match I think, will really be beautiful. As beautiful, Bret Havoc gets another opportunity against the original American, Lennox Norris.
I mean, how many opportunities does he get? How many opportunities can one man get at the Outbreak Championship?
Well, in fact, 7.
7.
I understand. But going back, Lurch, I would invite you to go back and look at Bret Havoc's matches in these Outbreak Championship bouts.
Going all the way back to like Emerge 5.
Yeah. How many times did he have that title won for it to be snatched away from him by dubious means?
I have one question for you, Commish.
Okay.
Is Lennox Norris not beautiful? Is he not beautiful enough for you? You have to get the championship on a beautiful Brett Havoc. Is Lennox Norris not beautiful enough?
I'm not trying to get the title off of Lennox Norris. I am trying to give Lennox Norris competition. I think he can handle it.
And let's keep in mind, too, that Brett Havoc is consistently producing beautiful matches anytime he goes for this championship. He pulls out everything that he has. But, Lurch, as you said, the results do matter, and as a result, this is going to be Brett Havoc's last shot at the Outbreak Championship. You said that on Saturday yourself. If Brett Havoc does not walk out of there with the championship, it's over.
And Brett I think he was the one that broached the subject, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just one more shot. That's all I need, and I got to respect that. The man deserves it.
That's one too many, and you're just trying to put that belt on beautiful Brett Havoc, and one too many. It's one too many, Commish.
Okay.
Well, before we get to talking about our main event, which is going to be layers and layers deep, we do want to take this time to thank our sponsors, Marco's Pizza. They have been fantastic. I've been stumbling all over my words tonight because it smells so good. Actually, you guys don't realize this, but there's actually pizza in these boxes. Chris makes us do the entire show before we get pizza.
Well, we take them out of these boxes so they're not a mess, but we put them in the smaller ones, and we always get the pepperoni, mushroom, extra cheese on the garlic crust, cut into squares, because that's what the commissioner likes.
Well, let's take a moment to hear from our sponsor.
If you're in the mood for some great authentic Italian food at a fantastic price, try Marco's. Subs, wings, salads, and the best pizza around. 2 locations in Columbus at 2019 25th Street and 3532 West 2 Mile House Road. Along with daily hot deals, receive a free order of cheesy bread for signing up for Marco's E-Club. You can learn more at marcos.com. Marco's, the official pizza of Emerge.
It's Ricky Ruckus approved.
Chris Caliber. Champ, I know you wanted to talk to me. First off, I want to personally apologize. What happened to you out there should not have happened. Jordan Cage has made off with that belt twice. He will be punished. I promise you. It's just I've had so much stuff going on tonight. You know, the whole Ricky and Donnie situation. I have to ask you to not make your own matches, dude. Let me do my job.
You have too much going on tonight. Too much on your plate.
You saw what was going on?
I saw what was going on. I did.
Yeah.
See, Chris Lowe.
No.
I want to make your job very, very easy. He's taken my belt twice. He's insulted my family repeatedly. He made my son cry tonight.
It was despicable.
So next month, I make your job easy. That no DQ match takes it off your plate. It puts it on mine, and I end Jordan Cage in Emerge.
You want a no disqualification match?
No DQ.
For the
I
Emerge
want to break
Championship.
his face into a million pieces. I want my title back, and I want to end him.
I don't necessarily agree with your methods, but Jordan Cage has ran off with that title twice. Quite frankly, you deserve a match, so I'm going to give it to you. Next month, Chris Caliber versus Jordan Cage for the Emerge Championship. No disqualifications.
Glad you sent it my way. Safer for everybody involved.
Of course, thank you to Marcos for sponsoring this, as always. Of course, butted up against the back of that, you saw the gravity of the main event that we're talking about. I don't think... We all remember the Chris Caliber, Jeremy Hadley situation, but never once did it go as personal as Jordan Cage has made this in 2 short months. As you heard Chris Caliber say, the words that Jordan Cage spoke did not just go out into the ether.
No.
There was an entire situation that is way bigger than wrestling that was affected by those words. And to put it frankly, Chris Caliber is out for blood. So you're giving him the chance to get some.
Right. And your main event for Emerge 31, picture perfect Jordan Cage will get another opportunity to become Emerge champion, rightfully become Emerge champion, when he faces Chris Caliber in a no disqualification bout.
And I was so disappointed that Jordan Cage didn't walk away with the title because of the...
He did walk away with the title.
Well,
he left with it.
Officially, you know, in the record books, you know, I mean, it was so disappointing that he didn't walk away with that championship officially. And, you know,
And what was disappointing was the fact that he felt the need to bring a man's personal life into the ring like that.
I mean, it wasn't the nicest tactic again, but as I've said this,
Jordan Cage was out of line. Flat out. Sorry.
I think there are a lot of issues in the ring that become incredibly personal. But 2 things that you don't do. Number 1, cross the line and seriously injure somebody. Number 2, make a wrestler's child cry.
That is so wrong.
And that's the 2 situations that we're talking about. And I agree with you that you do whatever you need to do to get things done. But there is a line, there is a code, and Jordan Cage took that code and threw it out the window. And for as shocked as I still was from the whole Ricky situation, I walked out of that building after the show and started taking things down basically with my jaw on the floor. But for as unfortunate as the situation is, it does give us what has the potential to be one of the matches of the year, because there is no disqualification, there's no count out, there's nothing more that Jordan Cage can do. No time limit either, as I understand.
Right.
1 fall to a finish. There will be a winner. Somebody will walk out with that title, and whoever does walk out with that title is going to be the rightful champion. Chris Caliber has a lot of rage inside of him. I think he kind of always has, but now it is at the forefront of his being. But not only that, we have seen as recently as Emergence Day, Lurch, how hardcore Jordan Cage, the polished wrestler, can get.
no doubt.
He has no problem getting down and dirty.
It's put up or shut up time for picture perfect Jordan Cage. We all know this, and he has put himself in every situation. He has earned every opportunity to get this no disqualification stipulation added to this match, and you know, he's going to use it to his fullest advantage and walk away with the W. 1, 2, 3.
Well, no matter who walks away with the W, Chris, I think only one of them might walk away.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty safe bet. I also think this match goes to show, Jordan Cage's behavior has gone to show how important the Emerge Championship is. If you're willing to go this far to become champion, I got to say, part of me has a little bit of respect for that. That you respect a company and its title so much you're willing to throw all the rules, all the etiquette out the window to try to become the number 1 guy. I don't agree with it, But I can respect it.
There's a certain amount of respect in the inherent disrespect.
Yes.
Which is
well said.
A little odd. But that is your card, ladies and gentlemen, for Emerge 31 Deception taking place in just over 2 weeks. Let's run through it one more time for those of you who might not have been around the entire time. Copies and More Facebook Live match. The sharpshooter Luke Lawson is going to take on Kinetic Cole Radrick. If Luke Lawson wins, then he gets a tag team title shot at Emerge 32 with a partner of his choosing. The women's championship will be defended. Haley Shadows is going to take on Lainey Luck. A tag team match with severe implications as to a person or a team's spot in Emerge will take place as Legendary is going to take on the Young Dragons. Poison Apollo Star is going to take on Mark Vandy in a challenge match that is all about respect. But in a matter of a match where there's a lot of disrespect, Scotty Young is going to take on Austin Tyler Morris and settle what could potentially turn into a blood feud very quickly. Conniving Kenneth James makes his return to take on the Mastodon, JD Mariani. In the Outbreak Championship, beautiful Brett Havoc gets his 7th and final shot against the original American Lennox Norris, the incumbent. And finally, for the Emerge Championship, in a no disqualification match, Picture Perfect Jordan Cage, who holds the title but is not the champion, takes on the rightful champion Chris Caliber. No disqualification, no count out, no time limit, one fall to a finish. There will be a winner. And not even that, we heard just yesterday on the Emerge Facebook page that Donnie Idol is going to be at the show, and he is going to make it a point to call out Ricky Ruckus, even though he did not get his match.
Again, I am going to appeal to Donnie Idol to think about what I said and think instead of react, and please do not show up. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, whether or not Donnie Idol should show up, you certainly should. Tickets are on sale now, emergewrestling.com. Contact the Facebook page. Contact pretty much anybody but Ricky, because I'm pretty sure he will completely ignore you at this point. My name is Casey Johnson, Chris Lowe, A.W. Lurch, and we will see you in just a couple weeks for Emerge 31 Deception.